Recently, me and my husband traveled to Eastern European countries in a tour arranged by SOTC. It was a good one. First, from Chennai Meenambakam airport to travel to Delhi. In Delhi, we sat in the lounge and had a good dinner. We started in the evening from Chennai, and in 2.5 hours we reached Delhi. And there, to my surprise, the chef was making wonderful dosa. I just wanted to share the dosa making scene with you. See how nicely he's spreading the dosa batter. And then he's applying some chutney on top of it and folding it and giving nicely. It was very hot. Inside we kept the aloo masala, and the ambience was also very good in the lounge. So we enjoyed a great dinner there. And then I also took his permission to take a video of his dosa making skill, and he was very happy about that, and he thanked me. And then the chai was also made with ginger etc. by the girl over there, and she made a wonderful chai, very tasty chai, by pounding ginger. That also I took a video with her permission. And then we went and sat in the aircraft. From there we had to go to Warsaw. Warsaw is the capital of Poland, as you all know. From Poland we had to go to Berlin. So there the immigration was done in Warsaw. From there we went in the flight to Berlin. From Delhi we went to Warsaw by Polish Airlines, and it took 8 hours. That flight was not good actually. The seats were not very comfortable, and even the TV screen was not functional. When we complained, they did nothing about it. That was the worst part we faced when we travelled from Delhi to Warsaw. Somehow we had to kill that 8 hours. God knows why SOTC booked that Polish Airlines to travel from Delhi to Warsaw. From Warsaw we took a flight to Berlin, which was comfortable. When we got down in Berlin, it was so cold and it was raining. The instruction given by the travel company was a light jacket is enough, since it is not going to be very cold. But it's our luck. It was very cold and it was raining also. And our tour manager, Marina Coutinho, she was so nice. She ran up and down to collect all the 38 of us from 2 different airlines, because the other batch came through Turkish Airlines, and the bus was parked quite far away from the airport, because that is the rule there, it seems. So first she took us all, and then she made us sit in the bus. Again she came back in the rain, and then she brought the other batch also. Then from there she took us all to a very nice Indian restaurant where we had the dinner. It was a very good dinner, like rice dal, and then salad, then a dessert, etc. It was good. Then after that we were all so tired, so we went and checked into the hotel. And next day morning we started the Berlin tour in this big bus. The bus was very comfortable. That is, after Berlin there was no flight at all. It was all only by this bus we had to travel till we got into our flight back to our country. So the bus was very comfortable. I am just showing the interior of the bus also to you. And the seats were very good, like pushback seats, and only 38 of us, so we were able to sit very comfortably. We could change the seats, and we also got very good friends over there. Some were from Delhi, some were from Pune, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and 3 of us from Chennai, and some were from Kolkata, like that. From various places they had come, and they were all mingling very well. And then to my surprise, around 8 doctors, if I am not wrong, were there amongst 38. And we were so happy that if there is any emergency, there are some efficient people to take care of us, and they were all very good people. They were very friendly, jovial, at the same time took care of some minor health problems of people. So this is a road by which we travelled around 36 kilometers from the airport to the hotel. It was quite far. So it was a tiring journey from Chennai to Berlin. It took, because the gap in between the flight was also too much. From Chennai to Delhi we went, then we had a stopover of 8 hours. We didn't know what to do. From then at Warsaw we had to stay for 4 hours. Then we had to catch a flight and go to Berlin. So the almost 24 hours had gone in this travel itself. That could have been avoided had they booked through some other way, through Doha, Berlin, etc. It is there, so the company must be having some calculations. So this is a roadside scene which we saw the next day morning. when our tour manager arranged a city tour of Berlin for one day, because the next day we had to leave from Berlin. So she showed us the entire Berlin in one day, and what all things we saw in Berlin I would like to share with you. The first place what we visited was the mini Berlin. It had the stories of the capital city from Middle Ages to modern age in a miniature form. It had a lot of 3D miniature sets, and we got to know through that Berlin's 750-year-old story. It was wonderful. After seeing the little Berlin, we started the city tour of Berlin. We saw so many things. We saw the Parliament building, REICHSTAG, then we also visited Berlin Wall. We went to the center of the city, Alexander Platz, and also we saw the world time clock and Pergamon Museum, and we also saw the beautiful church over there. It was overall it was a very beautiful place to see. Now what you are seeing up is the mini Berlin, what we enjoyed there in that museum. It had everything whatever is seen in Berlin in a miniature form. You can also see that and enjoy. These are the streets of Berlin through which the bus took us under the guide. And then they had tram system, excellent tram system on the road, and they had the lines for the tram also, side by side with the cars and buses, etc.
16 federal lands decided to build communism. What does it mean? Nationalization. They made immediately nationalization of all factories, houses, and so on. They decided to build society without privacy. And of course, these representatives of these 16 Bundeslands come together to create constitution of Germany itself. They start to struggle. It was conflicts, sometimes even physical fighting.
So this was our guide talking to us about the beautiful buildings which were destroyed during the Second World War, and then why the German wall was created, etc. He was describing about the past of Berlin.
Will stay here. And this situation, funny situation, continues till it was production of West Germany. The same was with airplanes, trains, and so on. And of course, it was not enough workers. The salary was very high. The fact it was shock because it was built in one night by a lot of military. They protect this. So socialistic soldiers who did it. Only one was on the photo, but it's okay. But of course, the long street. Now we will go there. The people of Berlin, the people of Berlin, they are humorous. They always make jokes. It's a best favorite business of Berliners to make joke. They call it 3.5 kilometers of pleasure. Mostly women tell this because the husband normally say it's 3.5 kilometers of heart attack, because it's a city of the shops, city of very expensive shop. For women it's 3.5 kilometers of Old Berlin. It was the most rich, most beautiful, most spirit street, but nothing to do with the central street. We are in West Berlin. But when the city was divided with the Berlin Wall in one night, it was like an island inside of socialistic Germany, island of capital. Look for the building right. Look for the buildings left. It's piece of Old Berlin. Before Second World War, it was the most rich, most beautiful big city, but it was totally destroyed. Beautiful the buildings around us, but if we would go in front, you will see very simple, very modest building. Just of West Berlin appears only because it was totally divided, and they lost center of the city. The historical center of the city was in East Berlin, and view of Manhattan, the sky buildings, and they decided to build here the sky buildings as a symbol of the city.
So he was talking in brief about the building of the Berlin Wall, why it was built between East Berlin and West Berlin. Because after the Second World War, it was a Cold War period between Soviet Union and the USA. So the people of East Berlin were following communism and West Berlin was following democracy. And many people from East Berlin started fleeing to the West Berlin side, and that was more prosperous. Many of the great writers and artists, etc., they started going. So the East Berlin government decided to build a wall around the West Berlin so that people cannot escape. Then finally it was broken and then this gate was opened. What you are seeing above is the Brandenburg gate, which was opened on 22nd December 1989. The wall was built on 13th August 1961. From 1961 to 1989 this wall was there, and many people, those who tried to escape, either they died out on their own while jumping, because it was guarded with concrete barriers, encircled West Berlin completely, and also it had guarded towers. And there was a wide area called the death strip around this, and also it had beds of nails so that people cannot escape from East Germany to West Germany. Around 3.5 million people had already defected from East Berlin to West Berlin. So the government had to take strict action. Around 136 to 200 people were killed. What you see above is a tram. They have a very good network of tram service plying all the time on the roads, which was very good to see. We also travelled in the tram once. And here then we also saw a beautiful museum there, art museum, and it had all sculptures of Egyptian civilization. It had the sphinx, it had many of the birds and animals connected to Egyptian culture. So they were all found in the museum which we saw in East Berlin. Mostly from Egyptian culture only, they were all there. This is again the roadside which we are showing you, so that to have a feel of the place. When we travel from one place to another place, we kept on taking video so that people, those who cannot go, they can enjoy the view of East Germany from their house itself. And the buildings were all very modern and beautiful. They were very nice with different types of architecture. And this was a big church over there. It had a unique big clock on top of it. So every hour the clock has a unique structure. See what you see above. So one person plays on the guitar and then one person comes out and goes inside, like that. It had a unique feature. And these are the greenery when we travelled all along the Berlin roads. Every park is maintained beautifully well. There is enough place to go for walking and all, and a lot of marble sculptures all along. So it's had a great history, full of good sculptures. This is the Brandenburg gate which I was talking about, when it was opened for the public in the year 1989, so that people could travel freely from east to west.
And only because of this story, Brandenburg Gate now it's a symbol of modern Berlin.
We walked through the gate and went to the other side, and we saw the beautiful buildings and a large area. At the sides they had beautiful tulips grown, and that day also it was raining. They had a tuk-tuk like our auto for sightseeing. It was so cute, red in color, and we saw a good tulip flowers, and then a beautiful fountain at the side. And another thing I should tell you, that wherever we went, we had to pay for the toilets. 50 cents.
River and some islands.
50 cents we have to pay in euros. Only then the toilet thing opens, otherwise you can't use it. And this is the outside area which shows the planning of the church and the surrounding areas, and the guide was explaining to us. You heard the sound of the majestic church bell, right? It was really very good. And again we went in the bus, and you are seeing the roadside of East Germany, that is Berlin. You could see the people carrying their umbrellas and raincoat because it was raining on that day. The next day was we had left Berlin, so it was better. Only that one full day we were really shivering because we had gone from Chennai, which is hot throughout the year.
And you see that right side they goes into the channel. Yeah, in front of us, name of the very famous architectural school. This school was in Berlin. Some young architect after a quite special area. It's an area of homosexuals. And it's very nice area. We all come here for fun.
We saw the Parliament building, the REICHSTAG, where the Parliament is functioning now, and that was very good to look at. We saw both the old Parliament building as well as the newly constructed Parliament building. Then we got into the bus again so as to see the other places in Berlin. It was greenery all along. And this was a beautiful square which we saw surrounded by a lot of buildings. As we know, in Europe, every place has got a central square, and this was a square and it was very nice. And there were a lot of eateries at the side of the road, and people were enjoying as it was Friday evening. So people were having great food over there. And we saw some vintage cars also by the side of the road. These are the different types of cars which were there at the side of the road. They are all like old time cars. Now they have been shown as show pieces to the people. It was looking good. You know that Germany is famous for all hi-fi cars, stylish cars. So we saw almost every car was very high-end car. And this is the Berlin Wall where our group took a group photo. We all enjoyed taking that. See, this is the place which divided East Germany and West Germany. After it was broken also, you can see this portion alone is retained for people to come and visit, for tourists to come and see the wall. Otherwise, the other part of the wall was broken. It is not there. A small portion is left for us to go and see that and also remember. And there are lots of information given there as to why it was built and when it was built and why it was broken, what were the effects of building a wall around West Berlin. Everything was written in detail, and some people became emotional also by seeing that, because it was a reminder for us about the Cold War period and how people tried to escape and then they were dying, etc. This is the interior of the museum which we visited. As I said, it had a lot of Egyptian civilization artifacts. This was a big tub. It was so heavy, we wondered how they carried it inside. It was built by burnt bricks, but it was very huge and deep inside, and it looked very heavy. So all the pieces on the wall, etc., they were perfectly made. It was very nice to look. Lot of beautiful marble statues were also there inside the museum. Actually the time given was not enough because it had 2 floors and we only saw the ground floor, and it was very nice to look at. It had excellent artifacts. Lot of beautiful marble statues, like carpet like formations which were all made so beautifully and intricately, and lot of statues like you are seeing the Sphinx over there, and everything is connected to Egyptian mythology. Some birds, all well preserved over there. You can see yourself and enjoy. And this is the entrance to that museum. So many steps, but also there was an elevator for old people to get inside. It was also like the temple of Parthenon, the shape, the entrance. This U only indicates there is an underground transport system which you are seeing there. There was a brief introductory session started by Marina. She is our tour guide, Miss Marina Coutinho. She was very sincere in her work.
We are utilizing this time by touring various countries. I've been with Thomas Cook last October. Italy are all youth in our minds. So that's the thing. Please enjoy, and we'll be surely having a nice time around. Thank you.
Years of togetherness. Ruby Jubilee.
And if we are not doing anything, we are at the golf course, spending time.
It was nice to know a bit about everybody, and that was a very beautiful way of telling what are their hobbies and where are they living and what they are doing, etc. At the same time, we were having a beautiful look of the city. And this was a clock which was found on the church, and every hour it has a peculiar way of functioning. From the side room kind of a thing, the two people come out, one playing the guitar and one another one making a sound, and then it goes inside again after around 20 seconds. For that there was a big crowd to watch that show. It was very nice. It was like Hyderabad Nizam clock show. And this is our bus as I showed you earlier. And this is the Parliament building. You can see from here the REICHSTAG. But there was not so many restrictions as we have in India to go near the Parliament. The traffic restrictions are not there. Just near the Parliament itself, the cars and all are going. The outer view of the museum, what we saw with all wonderful sculptures inside. So these are all the different types of buildings they have. Some of them appear like as if they are all like Mughal buildings, and everything has got a sharp pole kind of a thing at the top of it, and then above that there is a light. We were wondering how they fixed it at that time. And even India's connection is there. You can see at the side, you can see the Buddhist symbol over there, the gate is beautifully kept over there at the side. So we were very happy to see that. When we travel outside India, we really miss our country, and then we feel proud if we see some symbol. And this is the clock which I was talking about, and you can see the man coming out of the through the small door and then playing on the guitar on the side of the church wall. So we were given some time to just enjoy ourselves, just walk around and feel the place. So Marina was very good in all those. She exactly gave us the rest time while traveling in the bus. Also after every 2 hours, arranged for a coffee shop and then for us to go to toilet. Those things were very well taken care of by her, and our sincere thanks to her for all that. But only thing is, every toilet was payable except in some of the petrol pumps where you go and buy certain things, then it is free for you. Here there is a beautiful small river in which they are having the boat ride, etc. People really enjoy there. The water is crystal clear. It must be quite chill, of course. And it was a beautiful sight to walk through. Lot of bridges there. So when the bus goes over the bridge, we can see the rivers and boating, etc. This is again the Alexander Platz, which I was talking about, center of Berlin. The area around that, you can see it. And this is the World Astronomical Clock, World Time Clock they say. It was there in the Alexander Platz. It was very beautiful to look at, but we didn't know how to find the time with the help of that, because we had to cover. It will take some time to understand the system and read it. We just saw it as a very beautiful world time clock. The city was full of beautiful sculptures everywhere, so I was thinking of sharing some of the sculptures when we walked around. And he was a tour guide, the one in the red color jacket, black and red jacket. He was the tour guide. He was doing his job quite well. And we had a Berlin art market which had lot of beautiful paintings done by the artists of that place. Many people bought them. It was a bit expensive, but it was very unique. Lot of people were doing caricatures over there. It was a street full of artwork. We enjoyed that also. Since it was raining, we had to carry our umbrella and walk throughout. And we cannot take out the jacket because for our body temperature it was very chill, because we are used to Chennai climate. So we felt very cold over there. And this was a Berlin Wall before it was broken. You can see that wide area that was called as a death strip, they called. That is, people who try to escape, they will be shot at from that area. It seems it is a broad area. So that was a old Berlin Wall, which we saw in some of the photographs there. Now this is the piece of Berlin Wall left for the tourists to come and take photographs and to feel the moment, how it was built and how it was broken, how the people were happy when the Germany was unified, etc. So all the 38 of us, we stood there and then we took a photograph and we were so happy to be photographed together. Though it rained, we did not give up. We just walked through the streets when the time was given, and some of the buildings were unique. I just took photograph of them for you people to see and enjoy. This was the Brandenburg gate before it was open. The tourist guide had this photo with him. See how it has barbed wire so that people cannot escape through that from East Berlin to West Berlin. Now everything is very clear and everything cut off. This is the old photograph how the people could not escape from East Berlin to West Berlin. And these are some of the houses. As I told you, the walls are all shared from one house to another house. They don't have independent houses like we have in India. And even now the construction was going on there on the streets. These are some of the old buildings and churches, what we saw on the way, which is worth seeing because the architecture was beautiful, and though they are old, they are kept in good condition. And this was the interior of the Indian hotel where we ate. They had lot of Indian things there, like white elephant and paintings connected to India. It was nice to sit in that ambience and eat. Everywhere they had some Rajasthani culture attached to it. They had some umbrellas hanging from the side, and this was the name of the Indian hotel where we had the dinner on that day after finishing the whole of Berlin city. And they had various kinds of Indian dishes with a nice dessert. On that day I think it was mango ice cream we got. Everything was so tasty and good, and especially we were hungry, and so we felt very nice. And that place had some Buddha faces and all Indian things were kept over there so as to create the Indian atmosphere. I have shown some of the samples of the salad and other stuff which they gave for us the dinner. This is the interior of the hotel. They have carvings of elephant and some of the Indian Mahabharat painting, etc. on the wall. So on the whole, we enjoyed the one-day trip of Berlin city, and then we were so tired, we just remembered all the things what we saw in Berlin that day by reminding us from the little Berlin. Then we went to bed so tired because just here we stayed for 2 days here and in another place. Other hotels we just had to stay for a night and we had to shift to another hotel, but that was an experience and we had to carry our own luggage, no porter, etc. So it was a good experience on the whole, and I hope you also enjoyed the Berlin tour along with me. Next, I will take you to Prague by driving through Dresden. That was also a very beautiful thing. We had a guided city tour of Dresden on the way. We had some rest in between, some toilets and coffee, etc. Then we went to Prague. Thanks for watching and enjoying my video, and let us meet again in the tour of Dresden and Prague. Thank you.